This is a video of idiots on the internet reacting to the WDBJ shooting. And before we begin, I would like to address some comments from some people in my own audience who are confused about the definition of mass shooting as used in that video.
What the fuck is considered a mass shooting? Because when I think mass shooting, I think someone walks into a place and tries to kill as many people as possible and actually taking victims' lives. I think the news counts a mass shooting as a kid brings a gun to school and kills a cunt student, doesn't go on a rampage, but they can still call it a mass shooting. This is not a mass shooting. This was the murder of two people. Premeditated murder, not mass shooting. Cannot be compared to Columbine. Lol. This does not seem like a typical mass shooting. Number one, shooting two people at a time doesn't really qualify, at least according to the FBI.
I don't know where you get the impression that only two people were shot. There were 3 people shot in the initial attack, and then the shooter shot himself, so that's 4 people.
Number two, when it comes to the kinds of shootings people associate with the term, it's usually more random and impersonal. The Dark Knight shooting, Mark Lapine, Sandy Hook, Elliot Rodger, someone opening up in a Walmart, etc. The only reason the number of these mass shootings is so high is because people just call everything a mass shooting these days.
Yeah, that's right. Going to the fridge to get a glass of milk. Mass shooting! Everything is called a mass shooting now. Okay, so for those of you who are not clear on what I mean when I'm talking about mass shootings, the website that tabulates the mass shootings defines it thusly. A mass shooting is when 4 or more people are shot in an event or related series of events, likely without a cooling off period. So, for a mass shooting to happen, 4 people or more have to be shot in a single event or a closely related series of events with no cooling off period in between. So the entire point of the video that I made yesterday was that when these sorts of tragedies happen and they garner the attention of the media, instead of actually having a conversation that is geared towards solving the problem or maybe addressing some of the issues that lead things like this to happen, people just want to quibble and defend the status quo. And I was pretty disappointed when my own audience, instead of participating in the sorts of conversations that I was advocating, decided to engage in a semantics clusterfuck over the definition of the word mass shooting. Okay, well, whatever you decide constitutes a mass shooting or not, the fact is that there have been 250 at this point, incidents where in an event or related series of events, 4 or more people have been shot. You could call it whatever the fuck you like, but that has happened 250 times this year alone. All right, so our first idiot comment comes from Alex Jones.
Hillary Clinton, shut up, you warmongering pig! You're the one starting a race war. WDBJ shooting, WDBJ. And then there's a Hillary meme that says, pushes race war, then blames guns for killings.
I must have missed that speech where Hillary Clinton called for a race war. I don't know. I mean, I'm not the biggest Hillary Clinton fan, so I'm not hanging on her every word, following her around, seeing what she's doing. But I'm pretty sure that if Hillary Clinton had got on camera and was like, we need to start a race war, I'm pretty sure I'd have been like, hey, what did Hillary Clinton just say?
Hashtag Black Lives Matter, @DRay, and hashtag Sean King are directly responsible for this. Hashtag try 'em and fry 'em. Hashtag WDBJ, hashtag WDBJ shooting.
Actually, there was a guy named Vester Flanagan. You might have heard of him. He shot those people, so I would say that if anyone is directly responsible, it's probably him. Not 100% sure about that. Also, hashtag try 'em and fry 'em. Here's the problem with that. He's dead. He's dead. You can't, you want to try his corpse and then fry it, and then we could serve it up at a fucking weird-ass barbecue? I'm down for it, sure. Pass me a piece of that big black ass.
The real issue isn't guns, it's the absence of Jesus in the people pulling the trigger. This world desperately needs Jesus!
You know, in the early seasons of the television show House MD, House would frequently misdiagnose people with lupus before eventually discovering what was really wrong with them. They actually made fun of this in later seasons with House saying, "It's never lupus." Well, Jesus is a lot like lupus. There might be times where you think it's the answer, but honestly, it never fucking is. In fact, the only time Jesus is the answer is when someone asks the question, who historically gave the best hand jobs? And if you can't figure out why Jesus would give the best hand jobs, pause this video and think about it for a second. Holes in his hands.
Hashtag WDBJ. Libtards don't seem to understand that banning guns outright won't matter for the criminals. They don't follow the law in the first place.
Oh, I won't ban all guns because I'm a stupid liberal. Honestly, I don't want to ban all guns. Neither do most liberals. Most liberals want regulation on guns. Let me tell you a secret. Regulating things and banning things are not the same. Like, for instance, I like housing codes. Doesn't mean that I want houses to be banned. It just means that I don't think someone should be allowed to, cover their floor with hay and then light their house with sparklers. Common sense type shit.
At the Young Turks, reminder, the WDBJ shooter was a black racist and the victims were white. I'm sure you'll ignore this off-narrative fact.
All right, let me just ask you a question. What is your evidence that this shooter was racist? I hear people saying this, that he was racist, but I don't really see how he was racist. I mean, I found excerpts from his manifesto. I could not find the whole thing. Maybe if I read the whole thing, I would see that he's racist. I looked for it, couldn't find it. If anyone has it, send it my fucking way. But from what I have discerned from the manifesto, he says that he has been attacked by black men and white women. He talks about how he's been attacked for being gay and being black. He says he suffered racial discrimination and sexual harassment and bullying at work. He's known to have lodged complaints about racism on several occasions at several different jobs. None of that, to me, says that he is a racist.
Hashtag WDBJ. Easy to see this insane shooter had bought into the victim mentality / race division. Speak from the lib mainstream media and the administration. Hashtag pitiful.
Well, racial division exists in all communities of all racial identities and all nationalities. There's still white people in this country that call black people niggers and spear chuckers and sambos, monkeys, what the fuck ever. And all sorts of other derisive things. And there's still black people who think that all white people are racist and every problem in their life is pertaining to racism. And there's still black people that use honky, cracker, whatever. I love this fake conservative narrative of there being this long-standing, wonderful racial harmony in America until the dreaded Obama came. And then everything changed. Obama turned the whites against the blacks and the blacks against the whites so that they would destroy each other and he would inherit the wreckage of America as a new God King. Here's my biggest problem. Vester Flanagan was obviously a piece of shit, for whom human life held no real value. He obviously had a victim complex. No one likes me because I'm black. No one likes me because I'm gay. No, Vester, no one likes you because you're a fucking psycho. And now you're dead. And honestly, good fucking riddance to you. But, that all being said, how do we know? Pay attention to that word, know, that his complaints were not valid. How do we know that he wasn't bullied and mistreated? Maybe he did suffer racial discrimination. I don't think he did, but I don't know that he didn't. Like I said, maybe I would understand better if I could read the entire manifesto, but as far as I can see, it's not available online. If anyone knows where it can be read, send me a link. Because until I've read the entire manifesto and seen this guy's reasoning all laid out, I can't really make that sort of judgment call, and I don't see how any of you feel qualified to make that judgment call. You're basically... Here's my theory, honestly. I think white people are desperate for this guy to be the Black Dylan Roof, so that they can say, look, black people do it too. Yeah, of course black people do it too. No race has a monopoly on violence and craziness. All right? That happens across the fucking board. Just like racism happens across the board. Just like sexism happens across the board. Men can be sexist against men. Men can be sexist against women. Women can be sexist against men. Women can be sexist against women. Black people can be racist against white people. Black people can be racist against Asian people. Black people can be racist against other fucking black people. Anyone can be a fucking crazy fuck who goes into a building and shoots a bunch of goddamn people. There's no, we don't always know it's going to be a white person, or that they're always going to be left-wing, or they're always going to be right-wing, or anything else like that. Those factors obviously do not mean as much as some other ineffable quality out there. There's a reason that we're having this happen so fucking much. And I don't know what the solution is. All I know is that we should be erecting as many hurdles as possible for these people who commit these fucking acts of terror against us. That's pretty much it. I'm the Amazing Atheist. Peace the fuck out. Well, that's my opinion. If you want to do some of your own research, maybe a valuable tool for you would be audible.com. You can get a free audiobook by going to audibletrial.com/The Amazing Atheist. The link is down below. audibletrial.com/The Amazing Atheist. If we get 100 free trials before the 15th, I will review the movie Angels in the Outfield, a movie I grew up with and a movie that I despise with a passion. So you can subject me to the torture of having to watch and review that heinous piece of shit, and apparently some of you like it, more power to you, but I think it fucking sucks balls.